Good morning. This is the start of a new week, and we're so excited to have you join us. Most importantly, allowing us to be part of your day. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television, from the heart and the economic base of Nigeria in Lagos. So my name is Henry Igwebike. Like we often do today, we'll be starting off with our newspaper headlines to see all that we have for you this morning. And right after that will be our main conversation also for today. But please do well to always check up on us. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We're very honored to have with us Emeka Madunago, journalist, public affairs analyst, to see through all that we have from our newspaper headlines. Good morning to you, Emeka, and happy new week.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so let's kickstart today, interestingly, with the Punch newspaper. And we have a laundry list of stories here. Let me take a few of them before getting into the talking point here. And I believe Ladoja has information on Bola Ige's murder. That's coming from Kande. And that's actually a very a big one, a very serious allegation. Let's see how that goes though. And also on the top strip, we have electricity tariff hike looms as federal government plans to end subsidy. Another big one again on Nigerians. I do not know how long we can, go around this. Already the tariff we have, it's still very big on Nigerians, and here we have another one coming. We equally have other stories here. Why banks cannot lift order the freezing GHL's account, and that's called First Bank. And equally have Dangote price slash marketers with imported fuel fear losses. The writer here, dealer says steep competition forces Dangote refinery price slash to 890 naira per liter. And I can speak to us on this particular issue because we do not know why this big wigs in the oil ecosystem keep playing with Nigerians. A couple of days back we learned that the pump price of fuel has nosedived because of import that has of course slowed down a little bit in price, and Dangote has gone to makes his own even lower than that. It's how healthy is this competition?
Well, it's interesting. It's very good. That's why it's called the business environment. Pricing, price gouging, price reduction. Those are strategies that businesses use to try to outdo one another, to outdo each other. And of course, Dangote is trying to play the game very well. It's very important. At least that has forced him to go down to 890. When there was an uptick in the price of oil in the international market, Dangote raises. But the price has gone down from $85 to $77 because there is nothing really to push the price of oil up. So there's everybody just being cautious, watching the new U.S. president or the returning U.S. president Donald Trump, with his trade wars and all that, his tariff wars. So
yes, but if you go on our street right now, there's a panic. Yesterday, there were long queues of motorists trying to buy fuel, and I guess it's because the marketers are saying that with the reduction by Dangote to 890, it means that they are going to lose, because what they bought there were a little bit higher than what Dangote, because it's more like a revenge mission. Since you love to go import, I will reduce my own, and of course it's becoming very big on consumers.
Which is why I said it's price gouging. Why would you import to sell at a rate that will be difficult for consumers to buy? That is not a business now. What you're doing is you're exploiting your customers. And you see, the market will always reply sharply. Was it not the same Petron that has been saying that they may resort to imported fuel to bring down prices? Now, how come that Dangote's fuel at 890 naira is cheaper than theirs? Then something is wrong somewhere. Which is why we are saying that the importation of fuel should stop. Let the refineries within Nigeria, let them compete. Let them compete, between each other, so that the competition can really be felt.
All right, but let's get to the Guardian newspaper for this morning, and we have other stories here. Telcos prepare 50% tariff hike set for rules out in March, and also we have Obasa's ousting divides APC as factions battle for control. And I can speak to us on this issue. Just before we got on talking, we talked about rumor that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has requested that Obasa be reinstated as the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. And I do not know, do you think that rumor is legitimate?
No, why not? This is politics. Politics is about the negotiations. And rumors are a very vital part of politics. Because what the politician says in the morning may be different from what he says in the night. So body language, they have seen the body language of President Bola Tinubu, that from what I hear, he's not interested in throwing Obasa out like that, because this is a man who really worked for you. He was there, was a foot soldier and all of that.
But don't you think that's a slap on others though?
Who is bigger? Tinubu, no, that's the number one man. So you defer. And the way Tinubu runs his own politics is that he doesn't want anybody to question him. If you begin to work against him, you'll be kicked out like Aregbesola, former governor of Osun State. But the key thing is that, I learned that some influential people, people even mentioned Tinubu's wife, Remi. Remi Tinubu. Some people mentioned that she had also weighed in on the matter and pleaded that he should not be disgraced, that he should be allowed to return and then resign. So that there should not be a witch hunt. That he should not be humiliated or arrested or investigated. So I think it's more than a rumor. I think it has some substance.
But unfortunately, all of these issues are happening that are not in tandem to good governance, because it's not just about these people, it's about the generality of Lagosians and what is right. What is right should be right, don't you think so?
Yeah, what do you call right in politics? It's just like truth. Who's truth? In politics, a 1 + 1 can become 100, depending on what the objective is, depending on who is doing the calculation, and depending on, to what end the calculation is being done. So, good governance, I don't tell you, in Nigeria, as long as the average Nigerian man can see food to eat, government is working. If you fix roads for him, if his children can go to school, at least he can get some money to get by. Government is working. So, they'll tell you, are we not delivering on those? If you talk of insecurity, Lagos is even safer than some other parts of the country. So they'll tell you that's not good governance.
Not good governance, yeah.
So,
very, very true.
The antics for politicians, should not really bother us like that. Because, of course, these things happen. These things happen, they want to outdo, each other and all of that, Yes, it was said that he insulted Sanwo-Olu and all of that. Well, to his camp, he merely expressed his opinion. If Sanwo-Olu's camp now interpreted it as an insult, well, it's unfortunate. And that's the way they look at things. Politicians don't reason things the way we do. Their eyes are fixed on the future. If you throw somebody like Obasa, who has been a foot soldier, a reliable and loyal foot soldier to Tinubu, if you throw him out, 2027 is still coming. So what do you think might happen? And it comes from Agege, which is a major constituency in Lagos. You cannot joke with that constituency. So all of these factors, combined, are in his favor.
All right. Speaking of doing everything to their favor, P2B, we have it here. Obi decries the plight of pension, calls for human leadership. It's Obi not whipping up sentiments here.
Sentiments about people's money. How much pensions are they earning? Some people are not getting their pensions. Secondly, the pensions, when weighed against the inflation rate of almost 40%, it's too low. It's quite low. It's abysmal, particularly for government retirees. There are pensioners who are getting 20,000, 15,000, 30,000. What will that do in this economy? So, for him to have said that, it's in order. Government needs to review pensions in line with the adjustment of the new minimum wage. The adjustment of the minimum wage. Government ought to review pensions. So I think Peter Obi is right.
And this begs to ask if Peter Obi would have miraculously done something different if he had won the election, because the way he goes about all the things he does, as if the government of the day is not doing anything, and he would have done immaculately well. Do you know that?
No, you know the thing is this. Peter Obi is not an angel. Peter Obi, like one of my friends, in America will say that there are no angels in politics. There are only angles, depending on the angle you are looking at. And so Peter Obi has said one thing, that his actions are guided by the Sustainable Development Goals. He said it when he was governor of Anambra State. He said, if you want to know my program, look at it was the Millennium Development Goals. Yeah. Now, the Sustainable Development Goals. He said, look at it. I've just looked at it as a blueprint. Now, if you can implement the Sustainable Development Goals, then of course you substantially meet the needs of your people. The first goal in the SDGs is end poverty. How do you end poverty? You put power in the people's hands. Dignity of labor. They can get jobs. They can take care of their families. They can earn decent wages. They have hospitals they can go to. There are schools their children can go to. They are protected. There is security. The rule of law is respected. Businesses are thriving. Businesses get support, even in a recession. So what is wrong with that? Then you go on and on and on and on and on and on. The SDGs, I think about 17 of them. If you implement them, and which is what he's doing, making donations to schools, to health centers, to nursing schools, to teaching hospitals, and all of that. Why? Because these are very pivotal to development. A lot of people cannot afford even basic health care. Why? Because these things are too expensive for them. And then they are far. They don't have enough health workers. There was a nursing school, he gave 20 million. They said they wanted to name a hall after him. He said, no, don't do that. That you will detract from the essence of what we are doing. And what are we doing? Institutional support. Others are also doing their own. There are other billionaires too who are also supporting the health institutions, educational institutions here and there. So it's not as if that Peter Obi, if he was the president, he would have been one angel. No, he would have prioritized human development. Peter Obi, for instance, wouldn't have spent money buying a jet, 150 billion, where you cannot pay core members, youth corps at 7,000 minimum wage. No, now. Peter Obi wouldn't have bought an Escalade, 1 billion naira now. When Buhari bought a Maybach Benz, 500 million naira as president, he wouldn't have done that. What happened to that one? All these vehicles, all this convoy, over 50 vehicles in Tinubu's convoy. Peter Obi wouldn't do that now. As governor, he had just 3 vehicles in his convoy now. These things are there to be seen. We know the areas he concentrated on when he was governor. Education. Today, education is free in Anambra State. Yes. And education is one of the major industries in Anambra State. That's one place where every successive government employs teachers. Obiano, the former governor, employs teachers. Soludo has employed teachers. Peter Obi did so much in the health sector. I just returned from home. If you see what Soludo has done with health centers, he upgraded health centers. He's working on schools now. He's working on roads. He's doing a lot in terms of empowerment and all that, fighting insecurity. And at the same time, doing what he can to improve the market. Do I tell you one thing? The money Soludo is making from internally generated revenue, I don't know. I don't have the figures, but it is substantial enough. He's making so much money from internally generated revenue. So, what are we talking about? Do things that make the lives of the people better. Tinubu supporters say Peter Obi said would have removed subsidy. Yeah, because subsidy is a scam. There is nothing called subsidy. Yes. Dangote now is now showing that there is nothing called subsidy. How come Dangote is offering a cheaper price than what petrol, what those importing petrol are doing, NNPC and others. Now, Petrol says that NNPC that they've been loading products from NNPC's Port Harcourt and then well refineries. No problem. I wish them all the best. I hope it improves. But the issue is this: one thing they are overlooking is this. Due to our current circumstances, we don't have enough crude for local production. Because when we say we are producing 1.7, 1.8 million barrels per day, when you remove forward sales, all the money we have pledged to African Development Bank, we've pledged to different people, we borrowed money from left and right. You know, when you remove all of that, what remains? And don't forget, we are doing joint venture, 60-40. We get 60, the oil majors get 40. Don't forget that at the end of the day, when you remove all those forward sales, what remains is 975,000 barrels per day. Not 1.8 barrels per day. 975,000 barrels per day. Divide it 60-40. How many is coming to Nigeria? Maybe 450 or 500,000 barrels per day. And meanwhile, the need, what Dangote and others need, is about that same 975 barrels per day. But you are going to give the oil majors their 40% now, right? You are going to export. I'm talking of crude. You are going to export. So where is the oil? Where is the crude you are giving us? So that tells you that the naira for crude policy is just another pie in the sky. It's just another boju, another wayo. You know, yes, of this administration. Yes, because Dangote is already said to be building 7 reservoirs to import, you know, for imported crude. That's why his petrol has not come down. That's why it has not come down, because he's not getting the crude he should actually get from an NPC. Local production over the years has been, you know, 445,000 barrels per day has been reserved for it. But you can't do that. Because we reserve 445,000 barrels per day for local production. That means Nigeria will not sell any crude. That will be a problem for us. It means that there will be no revenue, because oil is our mainstay. Crude is the main thing we are selling. Yeah. And so that means the economy will just close down. Everybody will go home. So when we talk about some of these things, you know, it is because we have to prioritize the human HDI. That's why someone like Vito has said, don't measure the strength of the economy by GDP. Measure it by HDI. GDP, gross domestic product. Gross, you don't bring so many things. Both legal and illegal happening. Both moral and immoral happening in the economy. Right? But the Human Development Index is this. When you put all of those things together, you look at how the human condition is. You know, access to education, access to health, access to security, access to jobs. A lot of things are factored in. How do all these things affect the people? So, when you put all of those things together, you just find out that, look, all this talk about GDP and all of that, is just false. Can I shock you with one more thing? Do you know that India and China still collect aid?
Still collect aid?
Aid, yes.
From where?
From foreign donors. Do you know India, one Indian minister said that the $459 million aid I think they got from the UK, I think for health, was inadequate. Now, some countries are rejecting aid because with what Donald Trump is doing now, they are saying, oh, okay, if you take aid, it means you have to accept Donald Trump's tariffs. That's what it's going to. Now, do you look at the U.S. Agency for International Development? You know, Donald Trump is dismantling it because he's now claiming through Elon Musk, you know, that, you know, US aid, you say, has actually been engaging in subversive activities, overthrowing government. All the money you say it said is given to countries have actually really gone, because actually they came out to say that yes, some of the aid, much of the aid they gave to Cuba was actually meant to overthrow the government of Cuba. So when you look at all of these things, now they are saying that one guy who was in charge of, one Lebrick, who was in charge of treasury payments, you know, who was employed by that Nigerian guy, Wale Adeyemo, who was special advisor to Biden, you know, the former president. Now that guy, that Lebrick guy, did not adhere to rules in disbursing money from treasury. That's what Donald Trump's people are saying. So, and people are warning that, look, all of these things you people are exposing, you're exposing the underbelly of America. and exposing the underbelly. But people are happy that globalization is being dismantled. Neocolonialism is being dismantled. America, which is the symbol of neocolonialism, the symbol of globalization, is being dismantled. Would you have thought of it before that America will impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico and immediately they will respond? Would you have thought of it? Oh, look at, they have responded. Already in the US, in shops, they are taking off, in Canada.
Yeah, they're taking off.
And Mexico. They are taking off US wine from their shops. And they are saying, oh, everybody go and start producing wine. You, wherever is US, brought it from US, you go and start producing. That means we are living in interesting times. So what it means is this. We must face the reality of the times. And that is that the world, as we used to know it, is changing. We are going to go back to we are not going to have a bipolar world, communism and capitalism, or unipolar world, capitalism. We are going to now have a multipolar world where everybody will choose their own friends and choose their enemies. So you know to what degree you're relating with your friends and to what degree you're relating with your enemies.
But don't you think that would give birth to another world crisis that we wouldn't want to see?
Why wouldn't we want to see? Donald Trump is, even though
Donald
Trump is walking back some of the things he said, no, he can't give back to any war. Nobody's going to fight any war. No country has the money to go and fight any war.
No, because
the Russian economy is very depleted now. They are just taking some territories from Ukraine, and the US is slamming sanctions on them. But I know eventually they are going to come to the negotiating table. Israel and Hamas, they're already cooling down now because everybody is tired. Netanyahu is in Washington, maybe to ask for more support from US. But it's not easy to fight a war now. Name it, in different theaters of war, people are even getting tired. In Congo, everybody is already getting tired of the war, right. So the point is that there can't be a war. The US has a deficit of $300 billion, which is why Donald Trump thinks he can use a tariff war to settle it. But it will not work. Because you know what? If China rejects agricultural produce from US, where it has 200,000 acres of farmland, it will turn to places like Nigeria now. Yeah. China is already buying up land in Ogun State, in different places, in Middle Belt and all that, North Central and all that now, to produce all these things. So the US can go with their food, they will come to Nigeria. US rejected yam from Nigeria. China is buying it. China is buying cassava. Yes, from Nigeria. If only Nigerian government can be smart enough to key into this tariff war, don't fight anybody, don't join any. Even though you are joining the BRICS that Donald Trump said, but you are not a member, you are just a partner. So you are just sharing a bit of the umbrella. But don't make it look like you are against Donald Trump or against China. Enjoy their money. If China pours money into Nigeria because it's fighting a trade war with the US, enjoy the money, but use the money. Don't go and take 21 billion to build one unnecessary vice president's residence. Take that money, pour it into the economy. Pour it into credit for SMEs, pour it into grants for research, pour it into the health sector. Let there be cheaper drugs. Let there be so many people producing medications in Nigeria. Producing medication at different levels, producing anything and everything that can be exported. Start teaching women, housewives and all that, how to produce soap to good quality that can be exported. Because you see this trade war will mean that some of these countries are going to now turn to Africa. To countries like Nigeria. They're going to turn to us, yes. They will have to turn to us. If we can maximize the trade war very well, it will pay us well.
Very true. Yes. Very, very true. All right, I would have loved we continue on this, but that's just about the time we have for today. Thank you so very much, Emeka Madunango, for being part of the show today. All right, so when we return, US-based Nigerian cardiologist dies by suicide after losing child. We'll be talking about in a bit. Please don't go.